Let me ask you a very honest question. How many times, just this week, have you rushed to the bathroom thinking you'd feel relief, but instead felt that unbearable burning and the sensation that your bladder never really emptied? If this sounds familiar, it's no coincidence that you're here. I know exactly how this problem steals your peace. It disrupts your sleep, ruins simple outing, drains your energy, and leaves you with that constant worry that a urinary tract infection will come back at any moment. That's why today, I want you to stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share could mean the difference between staying stuck in this endless cycle or finally discovering a simple, natural, and accessible solution. And no, I'm not talking about magic formulas or something impossible to put into practice. I'm talking about 3 forgotten foods that almost nobody talks about, but that can be powerful allies in protecting your bladder and reducing the risks of urinary tract infections. The reality is that many people still believe recurrent urinary infections are just a part of aging, as if it were an inevitable destiny. But the truth is, there are ways to strengthen the body, ease the discomfort, and even prevent the problem from coming back. And that's exactly what I want to show you here. So if you're already tired of living with pain, relying on antibiotics that only work for a few days, and living in fear of the next crisis, this video is for you. I'm going to show you what these 3 forgotten foods are, why they work, and how you can include them easily in your daily life. Stay with me until the end, because this might be the turning point your urinary health has been waiting for. Before I continue, let me ask you something important. The goal of this channel is to reach 1,000 subscribers and for YouTube to share this video with more people who also suffer from urinary infection. I need at least 100 comments, so subscribe right now and write down below. I want to live without urinary infection. This will show that you are committed to your health and will also help others find this information. Now, let's talk about something that may be your reality today. A urinary infection is not just a minor nuisance. It's a problem that takes over your routine. It's that constant urge to run to the bathroom, even when almost nothing comes out. It's the burning that turns something simple, like urinating, into real suffering. It's waking up in the middle of the night, exhausted, because your body won't give you a break. And the worst part, this discomfort doesn't just affect you physically. It impacts your sense of security, your freedom, and even your social life. Many people stop leaving the house, avoid traveling, or even skip simple gatherings out of fear of embarrassment or of being struck with pain along the way. I know many people have already gone through the frustration of seeking help, taking antibiotics, and then, shortly after, seeing the symptoms return. It feels like being trapped in an endless cycle that not only wears down the body, but also crushes your confidence. And that's precisely why this video is so important. Because I don't want you to accept this suffering as something normal with age. It's not. And there are practical and accessible ways to change this reality. And it all starts with small choices we'll talk about until the end. Have you ever wondered why, after a certain age, it seems like urinary infections happen more often and take longer to go away? Well, that's not by chance. And understanding the reason is key to changing this situation. As the years pass, the body naturally goes through changes. The immune system, which is our defense against bacteria and viruses, no longer works as strongly as when we were young. That means the body has a harder time fighting off bacteria that reach the bladder and cause urinary tract infection. Another point is that many older adults take daily medication, and some of them can affect gut flora or alter the natural balance of good and bad bacteria in the body. This gives infections an easier chance to settle in. And let's not forget hydration. The truth is, many older people drink very little water, whether it's because they don't feel as thirsty or because they fear having to get up several times at night to use the bathroom. But when the body lacks water, the urine becomes more concentrated, creating the perfect environment for bacteria to multiply. For women, there's also the hormonal factor. After menopause, lower estrogen weakens the urinary mucosa, leaving the area more vulnerable to infections. For men, An enlarged prostate can prevent the bladder from fully emptying, and that leftover urine becomes a feast for bacteria. In other words, age does bring some risk factor, but that doesn't mean you have to accept urinary infections as a part of life. On the contrary, with the right information and small changes, it's possible to regain quality of life and protect your bladder. Now that you understand why urinary infections are more frequent after a certain age, we need to talk about something almost no one mentions: the most common mistakes people make when trying to solve the problem. And you might even recognize yourself in some of them. The first big mistake is self-medicating. Many people, when they feel that burning or that constant urge to go to the bathroom, immediately grab the same antibiotic they used last time. But that's dangerous. Every infection can be caused by a different bacterium, and using the wrong medication doesn't just fail to solve the problem, it can make the bacteria stronger. That's why so many people feel better for a few days. But then the problem comes back even worse. Another very common mistake is believing that drinking water for 2 or 3 days will wash out the bladder and solve everything. Of course, hydration helps a lot, but on its own, it's not enough once the infection is already established. It's like trying to put out a big fire with just a glass of water. Some also turn to home remedies without guidance, like teas or mixtures that promise instant cures. The problem is that most of the time, this only temporarily relieves symptoms and makes people believe they're healed, while the infection is still there, silent, and can even move up to the kidneys, which is far more serious. And then there's the mistake of ignoring the early signs, thinking, "Oh, it'll pass soon." This delay in seeking a solution can turn something simple into a serious problem. These mistakes happen because people often lack clear and practical information. And that's exactly what I want to give you in this video: natural, accessible, and effective ways to take care of your urinary health without falling into traps. So far, we've talked about how common urinary infections are and how mistakes in treatment can trap you in an endless cycle of pain and discomfort. But now, it's time to flip the switch. And that shift starts with something most people underestimate: diet. It may sound too simple, but what you put on your plate every day has a direct impact on your bladder health. Some foods act as natural allies, helping the body defend itself better against bacteria, keeping urine cleaner, and even reducing the inflammation that causes that uncomfortable burning. It's like giving your body a daily reinforcement, but without the side effects of medication. And the most interesting part is that we're not talking about rare or expensive ingredients. These are foods that are often forgotten at the back of the pantry, or that you already know but never imagined could have this effect on your urinary health. While many believe the only solution is to turn to antibiotics, the truth is there's a natural and practical way to take care of the body. Diet is a kind of silent medicine. Every meal can work for you, or against you. And here's the most important point. When you learn to use the right foods, you create a preventive routine. Instead of waiting for the next crisis to strike, you act first, strengthening the bladder and lowering the risk of infection. That's what I'm going to show you now. We'll talk about 3 forgotten foods that can be your powerful allies against urinary infections. You'll understand why they work, how to consume them daily, and most importantly, how these simple choices can give you back your peace of mind and freedom. It's time to reveal the first forgotten food that can become a real ally for your urinary health: cranberry. Maybe you've heard of it, but most people don't pay much attention to this little red fruit that can make a huge difference in fighting urinary infections. Cranberries are rich in substances called proanthocyanidins, which have a very special role. They make it harder for bacteria, especially Escherichia coli, the main culprit of urinary infections, to stick to the walls of the bladder. And do you know what that means in practice? That even when bacteria enter the urinary tract, they can't cling there and are more easily flushed out with urine. It's as if cranberries make the bladder more slippery for germs, reducing the chances of infection settling in. And the best part is that they also have antioxidant properties, helping reduce inflammation and ease that uncomfortable burning. The most practical way to consume Cranberries is through natural, unsweetened juice or concentrated capsules, which many compounding pharmacies offer. For those who prefer something simpler, dried cranberries can also be added to salads or eaten as a quick snack. Now, it's important to highlight one thing. Cranberries are not antibiotics and don't replace medical treatment in serious cases, but they can be a great ally in prevention, helping keep infections from coming back again and again. They're like a natural shield for your bladder. This is only the first of the 3 forgotten foods I'll share here. And if you found this interesting, wait until you discover the next ones, because they're even more accessible and may already be sitting in your kitchen without you realizing how much they can help. The second forgotten food that can transform your bladder health is fresh parsley. Yes, that little green garnish often left on the plate. The truth is, parsley goes far beyond flavor. It's one of the most powerful herbs when it comes to urinary health. Parsley has a natural diuretic effect, meaning it helps the body produce more urine and, in turn, flush out the bladder. And why is that so important? Because the more the bladder is emptied and cleaned, the lower the chance of bacteria building up and causing dreaded urinary infection. It's as if parsley works as a silent cleaner, helping to expel impurities from the urinary tract. On top of that, it's rich in vitamin C and antioxidants, which strengthen the immune system and reduce inflammation. That means less pain, less burning, and more protection against recurring crises. For those who live with urinary infections, this detail makes all the difference. And the best part is, parsley is cheap, easy to find, and can be consumed in different ways. You can add a handful of fresh parsley to salad, green juice, soups, or even make parsley tea, which is simple and extremely effective. 1 cup a day can already help improve bladder health. Now, one important detail. Since parsley increases urine production, people with kidney problems should talk to a doctor before overusing it. But for most people, including parsley in the daily routine is a simple habit that brings big benefits. That's the power of often forgotten food. Simple, accessible, and capable of changing the daily life of those who suffer from urinary infection. And if you found parsley surprising, wait until you learn about the third food. It's even more common and, when used the right way, can be a real shield against flare-up. The third forgotten food that can truly protect your bladder is red onion. Yes, this simple ingredient, often used just for seasoning, hides incredible property when it comes to urinary health. Red onions are rich in sulfur compounds and antioxidants, which have strong anti-inflammatory and antibacterial action. This means they help create an environment less favorable to the bacteria that cause urinary infection, while also reducing the AOE, inflammation and pain that come with the symptom. It's like they work behind the scenes, strengthening the body while weakening the invaders. Another important point is that red onions help with blood circulation and kidney function, 2 essential factors for keeping the bladder healthy and free of toxin buildup. The better the body flushes out what it doesn't need, the lower the chances of an infection setting in. And how to include red onions in your daily life. The most effective way is to eat them raw, in salads, detox juices, or even in thin slices alongside meal. If the taste is too strong, a good trick is to soak them for a few minutes in water with lemon. This softens the flavor, but keeps the benefits. Remember, there's no miracle food, but rather smart choices that, combined, make a difference. Red onions, together with cranberries and parsley, form a powerful trio that can help reduce urinary infection flare-up and restore the peace of living without pain, fear, or constant interruptions to your routine. Now that you know the 3 forgotten food, cranberry, parsley, and red onion, it's time to understand how to put them into practice in daily life. It's no use knowing they're powerful if they stay only in theory, forgotten in the fridge or pantry. The secret is turning these ingredients into simple, easy-to-maintain habits without complication. One of the most practical ways is to start the day with a glass of natural juice. You can make a green juice using fresh parsley leaves and add some fruits like apple or lemon to soften the taste. This simple habit already helps stimulate urine production, washing the bladder and lowering the risk of bacteria buildup. At lunch or dinner, include salads with thin slices of raw red onion. Besides adding flavor, they provide anti-inflammatory compounds that help protect the bladder and also improve circulation. If the strong taste bothers you, try soaking the onion in water with lemon for a few minutes. Before using, it keeps the benefits while softening the flavor. And to top it off, you can consume cranberry throughout the day. If you can't find the fresh fruit, unsweetened juice or concentrated capsules are great alternative. A daily dose is enough to make it harder for bacteria to stick to the bladder and, in turn, reduce the risk of new infections. See how simple it is? You don't need to change your entire diet. Just add these 3 allies at strategic time. The most important thing is consistency. It's no use taking them one day and forgetting the next. Prevention works when it becomes routine. This combination is like building a wall of protection around your bladder. Hydration, natural cleansing, and reinforcement against bacteria, all in a practical and accessible way. We've reached the end of this video, and I want you to stop for a moment and think. How many urinary infection crises could have been avoided if you had already known about the power of cranberry, parsley, and red onion? These foods are not just kitchen details. They can be part of your daily strategy to live without that constant pain, without the worry of running to the bathroom all the time, and above all, without the anxiety of waiting for the next infection. If this message made sense to you, help me share this content with more people who need it too. Click the like button now, because that shows YouTube this video is relevant and helps spread this information to thousands of people suffering silently from the same problem. And here's something very important. If you've made it this far, it means you're truly committed to taking care of your urinary health. So don't stop now. There's another video appearing on your screen that holds information I haven't shared here yet. I'll just tell you one thing. What you'll discover there can change the way you understand your bladder and your body. So don't put it off. Click on the video that's on your screen and keep this transformation going. The next step is just one click away, and it may be the missing piece for you to finally break free from recurrent urinary infections.